please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Will the Secretary please call roll?
Commissioner Leo,
Here.
Commissioner Escamilla, Commissioner Benninger,
Here.
Commissioner Oliva,
Here.
Commissioner Wu,
Here.
Vice Chair Ramos, Chair Pham.
Here.
Chair quorum has been reached at 5:32.
Thank you. Before we begin, I would like to remind my fellow commissioners to turn your microphone on when speaking and off when not speaking. And when speaking, please place the microphone about 4 inches away from you. Members of the public may attend Planning Commission meetings in person or virtually via Zoom. I now invite the Commission Secretary to describe the way the public can access and participate in the meetings.
This meeting is being live streamed via our portal at www.sana-ana.primegov.com/public/portal and to YouTube at www.youtube.com/City of Santa Ana videos. If you would like to provide public comment, you may do so in the following ways. Join the meeting via Zoom, enter meeting ID number 897-077-58509. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, select the hand icon to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the name you entered. You can also join the meeting by calling 669-900-6833. Enter meeting ID number 897-07-75-8509. When the item that you would like to comment on is being discussed, press 9 to let us know you would like to speak. You will be called upon by the last 3 digits of your phone number. After you're called upon, you may press number 6 to unmute yourself. For those who are attending this meeting in person and would like to provide public comment, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. All speakers will have 3 minutes to speak. I will alert you when your time is up.
Moving on to public comments on non-agenda or non-public hearing items. Madam Secretary, does anyone wish to speak on any non-public hearing items?
If you're attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on non-agenda or non-public hearing items, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you are participating via Zoom and would like to comment on non-agenda or non-public hearing items, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you're calling in and would like to comment on non-agenda or non-public hearing items, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Thank you. I'll now review the process for the public hearing so that everyone knows what to expect. Staff will provide a presentation and answer questions from the commission. The public hearing will then be open. The applicant will be given the opportunity to speak, limited to 15 minutes. Members of the public will be given the opportunity to comment, limited to 3 minutes. The applicant will then be given the opportunity to respond to comments made by the public, limited to 5 minutes. The public hearing will then be closed. Discussion will return to the commission with formal action taken to approve, deny, or continue review of the application. Please consider the following suggestions when organizing your comments. Please state your name and address, which is voluntary. State whether you support, oppose, or are neutral to the proposal. Your statement should include all pertinent facts within your knowledge. Please note, decisions on this matter is final unless appealed within 10 days by any interested individual or party. Recommendations on this item will be forwarded to the City Council at a later date for final determinations. Madam Secretary, do we not have a portion about excusing any unexcused absences from last? Yeah.
Yeah, we have to roll call for that.
Okay. Well, moving on to the consent calendar. Is there a motion to approve the minutes from last meeting as well as any unexcused absences?
I move that we approve the agenda from the June 26th meeting.
I second that.
We have a motion by Commissioner Wu and a second by Commissioner Benninger. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Scammia,
Aye.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Oliva,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos, Chair Pham,
Aye.
motion approved by majority vote with Vice Chair Ramos absent.
Thank you. Now we'll move on to public hearing items. This is the time and place for the public hearing item number 1, conditional use permit number 2023-14 for the property located at 700 North Main Street, Unit A, located in the Civic Professional District CPD of the Midtown Specific Plan SP-3. Before we begin, do any of the commissioners have anything they wish to disclose in regards to this item? Seeing none, Matthew Kilroy will now provide a brief presentation. Matthew.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission. Thank you for welcoming me. To sum up this item before you, Fat of the Land LLC is requesting approval for conditional use permit number 2023-14 to allow the sale of beer and wine for on-premises consumption at a proposed eating establishment located at 700 North Main Street, Unit A. Staff is recommending the adoption of a resolution approving the CUP as conditioned. The site is located within the general plan land use designation as District Center Low, DC1. The site's zoning classification is for the Midtown Specific Plan, SP3 zone. The surrounding land uses include commercial retail to the north, east, and south, with the Orange County Courthouse located to the west. The existing 7,620 square foot multi-tenant building is located on a 0.31 acre lot, with the Unit A taking up only a fraction at 846 square feet tenant space. The subject site was developed in 1959 as a bank, and since then has been occupied by various retail, service, and eating establishments, the most previous occupant being a Subway sandwich. On April 14th, 2023, the applicant submitted the subject application to the Planning Division to allow the sale of beer and wine for on-premise consumption in order to provide an additional service to its customer and offer an authentic French, Spanish, Basque-inspired cuisine. Currently, Fat of the Land will operate Monday through Sunday from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., with future plans to open earlier for brunch and lunch operations. This establishment will accommodate up to 17 patrons, with no live entertainment being requested at this time. This is a site photo of the eastern elevations and main entrance for the existing Unit A tenant space. This is the site plan of the subject property, Civic Center Drive to the south, Main Street to the east. This is the floor plan. As shown, the alcohol display will take up a small fraction of the floor space, 40 square feet in total, which is less than the allotted 5% maximum. Based on the analysis of this project, the Planning Division has found that the subject site is consistent with the goals and objectives found in the land use element of the general plan. It is located in a commercially acceptable zone, neighbors other commercial uses, and is not located in close proximity to any parks or playgrounds. The Orange County School of the Arts OSHA campus is the nearest school affiliated building, which is 230 linear feet north to the subject site, and the Episcopal Church of the Messiah is the nearest religious institution, approximately 250 linear feet to the southeast. Approval of the CUP will allow Fat of the Land to remain economically viable and compete with nearby eating establishments, offering a similar type of goods and experience, thus contributing positively to the surrounding area. According to Santa Ana Police Department crime statistics, they found that within police grid number 165, it ranked 1 out of 102, which is in the 0th percentile which is within the 20th percent threshold established by the state for high crime. With that being said, the Santa Ana Police Department is satisfied that the operational standards and conditionals of approval will mitigate any potential impacts to the surrounding community and does not oppose the granting of the CUP. Conditions of approval, property maintenance agreement, and standards in the Santa Ana Municipal Code will address any potential negative impacts. In accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, and the CEQA guidelines, this project is categorically exempt from further review. There is no physical impact associated with this action. Staff recommends the adoption of resolution approving CUP number 2023-14 as conditioned. Staff, as well as the applicant business owner of Fat of the Land LLC, Robert Pates, are available to answer any outstanding questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. The public hearing is now open. Does the commissioners have any questions for staff? I'll go down the row. Commissioner Benninger. Commissioner Benninger, do you have any?
Excuse me, yes, have staff parking for this facility. Is that on the north side of the facility? There is, go ahead.
Yes, there's sufficient parking on the west side of the building in a parking lot.
Commissioner Escamilla.
All right, so just taking a look at the abandoned roadway. So is that legally part of the neighboring property to the north, or is it still public property at that point? Just the drive aisle north of the site.
Yes, that is public right of way.
It's public right away. Okay, and just because I just bring this up, and the applicant might be experiencing this, just because sometimes it is much more difficult to enforce how does one say, vagrancy laws in general, but just having loitering happen kind of in that strip. So this would be something I'm not sure like what our process is for abandoning these public right of ways where they no longer serve a function, and it might be best to move that back to the developable kind of realm of land uses, so that we don't have an abandoned street we have to maintain. They're unable to enforce around their particular property since it is public property. That's probably again another conversation with Public Works, but just definitely whenever we see these opportunities, I am all for converting the roadway into something that could be just subdividable or just developable in the future. So that's the only thing I'm kind of seeing here. I wish the applicant luck on that corner, but it is a fairly convenient location for an eatery.
Commissioner Leo.
No comments.
Commissioner Wu.
It's just the first floor being used?
That is correct for Fat of the Land, Unit A, that is. And then there's also a Unit B, and on the second story, there's a Unit C. But we're just discussing Unit A at the moment.
So there's possible occupant for the other two units in,
That is correct.
and they're going to be sharing that, what is it, 4 parking spaces or 6,
There's a little bit more. I believe there's about 10 or more.
10,
19.
19? In the back somewhere else, not in that little, look like an alleyway?
Yes, there's parking spaces on the parking lot, and then there's also street parking as well. That the previous occupant Subway sandwiches utilized.
And that's meter parking, right?
I don't believe it's metered.
Oh, okay. My question, I don't know if it's operational, but 17 tables, right? And the flow of how many people occupy those tables for how much time, and and utilizing the parking, does it create enough sufficient parking? Is that a business question or is that a planning question? I really don't know. I'm just kind of curious about how that will work. Should I reframe and wait until the applicant?
Commissioner Wu, to answer your question, the site does provide sufficient parking based on code requirements, but when it comes to the operations and the sort of shared nature and expected peak volumes and all that, the applicant would be happy to answer your questions.
And what I take it is a little more high end than a fast food place, right? So it's going to be more of a dining personal experience,
That is correct. There's also a bar as well.
right? And this is going to, you said Basque cooking?
Correct. That's kind of a Spanish and French influence.
And there isn't one in Orange County. You have to go all the way to Riverside. So interesting. Okay. Are there any other issues that you were concerned of before? You put a lot of conditions in there in terms of having on-site manager and all those kind of mitigation and things.
Everything was in order. It's just kind of standard what we had to do.
And when they make delivery, where will they deliver? Is there a designated delivery area?
Are you asking if the restaurant will deliver?
Yeah,
I'm not
for
sure.
unloading and loading,
I see.
unloading.
Maybe we reserve the question for the applicant. I think they'll come up next.
And there's a designated area for the trash, right? It does cover.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct. And
Yeah.
it was a Subway sandwiches previously, so it was an eating establishment. So all those things are still in line.
Okay, thank you very much.
You, Commissioner Wu, Commissioner Oliva.
No questions.
Yeah, no questions from me either, but I appreciate you working with PD for the more extensive analysis. I think that's a great addition to the staff report. Moving on, would the applicant like to speak on the matter? I think Commissioner Wu had a few questions about operations, if you would like to answer.
As far as parking, the property currently has 19 parking spots. The bottom half of the bottom 2/3 of the downstairs floor is currently unoccupied. It was a 7-Eleven. There's currently plenty of parking. There's also half a block away, the Sycamore lot for the city that I know the city sells a lot of spaces, assigned spaces at $60 a month. So if we need staff parking for my restaurant, we can put it there as well. Plenty of trash operations. Deliveries for food, we're open in the afternoon, so we should be able to take deliveries in the morning through the front door. We do only have one door, but we don't plan any food delivery. And it is a higher end establishment. There is only about 17 seats in the whole place, so we don't really have a massive number of parking.
So you only have one entrance to
We have
your,
one main entrance, yes.
and so it's not there's no delivery back.
No, there's no backdoor delivery. Once you come to that main entrance, there'll be a second door installed, a small door installed to put deliveries directly into the kitchen space, and then clients will go to the left. But deliveries won't happen during opening hours, most likely.
It seems like you're designing a place for a certain clientele that you know, that appreciate the cuisine and it's the dining experience, right? So are you is it going to be a certain fixed menu or?
It'll be more or less a fixed menu with a couple of weekly specials or monthly specials, depending on how that develops. But a smaller fixed menu on a higher end dining experience.
That was similar to what what's his name did with the playground there for a while too.
Yeah, with detention down there at Trust, he did a similar thing. He has 18 people. He's doing full meals, but mine aren't quite. He's doing full set course meals where you pay $250 and includes your beer and your wine and your eating. Mine's not quite that high end or quite that idea, but similar to that small intimate style setting.
So is it? Are you going to have a faux bar or just wine?
Just beer and wine.
Okay. And what kind of Basque cuisine are you planning?
So various things. You can get your Basque cheesecake for sure. You can get your
lamb stuff.
lamb stuff, a lot of charcuterie, a lot of cheese, a lot of cooked things like croque madames from France, beef tartare, these kind of things from France, as well as a lot of cured fishes from Spain and things like that as well.
So you're not doing any roast meat or
I'm not doing any meat heavy like roasting or grilling. Mostly, we don't have the vent hood for that style. We have the type 2 hood for heat and steam, but we have the rest of the kitchen set up for all the cooking we need.
And this is like an article I read how the new cuisine in China is and this is their term, not mine, white people food, which is basically cheese and cracker. if you want to simplify, but it's more than cheese and crackers.
It's
right?
more than that, yes.
Yeah, okay. I'm sorry for asking these kind of.
No,
questions.
ask away.
I'm
That's what
curious
I'm here for.
what kind of business is going to go there. I like to see you make it, so I'm asking these kind of questions. Make sure
Absolutely.
you got the good location for it, that will work, and as people start coming back to downtown too. And so,
Well, I hope to help bring them back.
yeah. And where do you get the training from?
I've done cordon bleu classes as well as classes in France, smaller 2-3 week classes in France and Lyon.
Okay.
Let me ask a question, building upon what Commissioner Escamilla talked about. Is there a side door now? So if I'm looking at the building this way, is there a door on this side that lets you out into the alley?
No, the unit I am in
Isn't
has a
one
single
now?
door.
So you only have a single door, okay.
There's a map here. It's a single door, a small ramp up to the main level, which is about a 10-inch incline or a 10-inch raise, and then the main level with the bar with about 8 seats and 4 or 5 little smaller tables. The bar, the ramp? No, the ramp comes in, it leads you into the customer area.
Oh, no, I'm saying like. I'm just, I think to myself,
Commissioner Benninger?
Just curiosity, are you gonna have takeout
No.
strictly in-house dining?
in-house. If I go to lunches, I may do some sort of small takeout for lunches when I get to that point, but when opening will be strictly dining in.
Thank you.
Again, we're discussing the CUP of the alcohol. Commissioner Escamilla?
All right, sorry about that. We were just conversing just to see like the future potential to add an outdoor eating establishment for you. So even if you just had to go around the corner, we have had examples of that in other locations near down or in downtown where you might be a little distant, not quite like right at your front door, but just to your front door to the left. So if you ever do need those extra 17 seats, hopefully like that outdoors. So we were just discussing. So I do apologize about interrupting the meeting flow. And I guess the only question I really have for you is on the process as you embarked on this. So I saw that the application came in April. So was there a delay, you kind of waiting for this meeting, or was it just like more general processing? So for me, I'm just also trying to understand at what point we as a commission need to come in and should come in versus what we should make a little bit more routine for staff to approve. Like, were you waiting for a significant?
Yes, I was waiting.
You're waiting. So everything else is good. We just needed to
We
like
had turned
planning.
it on paperwork and I'm not sure the process.
Okay.
Matthew's been very, very helpful on the
Yeah.
process. He can answer that, but I know there was a bit of a process to get everything in place. I turned in the application about 3 months ago and he's been very good and very smooth with everything we need.
Yeah.
If it could have gone faster, it would have been better for me, but
Yeah.
that's the only thing.
Yeah, believe me, 3 months isn't too bad. Like,
Right.
but
That's what I
it's-
hear and I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
So.
So I guess this might be directed to staff. So were we waiting on the approval from Planning Commission more than anything? Or I imagine there's still building plans and others that are out for review, or is it pretty much just as soon as we're good here, we're good to go with his project as submitted?
Commissioners, just as a friendly reminder, the deliberation should be focused on the request that's at hand this evening, which is the approval of a request to sell beer and wine. However, Matthew, and given his stellar performance with this applicant, would be happy to answer your questions. But I just want to make sure that our questions are honed to the request that's at hand tonight for the administrative record.
No, and I do apologize. And the only reason I just wanted, well, at least from my mind, the nexus here is that I think that there are certain cases such as yours that I think establish or hit all the criteria that I would like to see in an application as far as location, type of eatery, overall impact, distance from sensitive receptors. And for me, I would just say like, yeah, this is one of those things where almost administratively, I would say, if you all are good with it, I'm good with it. I just thought it was a very a solid application package in front of us. So that's why I just wanted to convey that thought.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, everything was in line. Everything's in order. The next step would just be the following through with the conditions of approval, and then we'll move it forward to take it to building and safety.
And just tag on, if that's an item that you'd like to discuss, I know we have a work study session coming up. Maybe that's something that we can bring up and then we can discuss further. Commissioner Leo, do you have any? Commissioner Wu, I think you very spoke to the applicant. do you have any additional comments?
I don't have any more questions.
Commissioner Oliva?
No additional questions.
No comments from myself as well. Thank you for.
Thank you.
Stepping up. Madam Secretary, have we received any written communication? Is there any members of the public that would like to comment on the item?
We have received public comment prior to the 4 p.m. deadline, and it has been distributed and published to the agenda. If you are attending this meeting in person and would like to comment on this item, please fill out a request to speak form and turn it into the secretary. If you are participating via Zoom and would like to comment on this item, please select the hand icon and unmute yourself. If you are calling in and would like to comment on this item, please dial 9 and then 6 to unmute yourself. I will wait a few seconds. Chair, we do not have any speakers.
Thank you. Seeing there's no public comments, is there any motion to approve this matter?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve this matter.
I second.
Sorry, commissioners, as a formality, you may need to close the public hearing.
Oh,
Thank you, Ali. I'd like to close comments, public hearing. And now we'd like to entertain a motion. I believe we have a motion by Commissioner Benninger and a second by Commissioner Wu. Correct? Great. Madam Secretary, please call roll.
Motion to approve, right? Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Oliva,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
aye.
Vice Chair Ramos, Chair Pham.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Vice Chair Ramos absent.
Thank you. That concludes the business calendar. Moving on to administrative matters. The first item to discuss is the election of officers for 2023-2024 term. Seeing that the vice chair is absent today, we have two options. Either we proceed with nominations, or we can wait for next week or the next time we meet to proceed with nomination. I'd like to hear if the commissioners are amicable to move the elections, or do you want to proceed?
Well, for the record, we should note that at the conclusion of the last meeting, we were given notice that we would have this. And there was a poll taken to ensure that we would have a quorum and all that. And that we all knew that we need to be here, and we got advance notice through the minutes and all that too.
But
Mr. Chair and Commissioners, just as a friendly reminder, I would add that the bylaws of the Planning Commission require that the officers, that is the chair and the vice chair, are to be elected in July of each year, with those elections to take effect at the next meeting. So it's in the chair's purview to hold those elections either tonight or to canvass the commissioners as to whether they wish to continue this matter until the next meeting, which would still put you in compliance with the bylaws. But that continuance would be subject to a vote of the Planning Commission.
Well, perhaps we could have a motion that can suffice that. I think Commissioner Carl has one.
Well, I'm just going to support. I think we should vote tonight. I will not be here at the next meeting because of my surgery. So I really got to, you're balancing it. And I do agree. It was fairly stated what this meeting was going to be about. So I think we can go ahead and proceed with vote tonight.
seeing there's no motion to continue the items, we'll hold the election today. Do we have any nomination for chair?
I would like to nominate Chairman Fan for another session, another year.
I'll second the motion.
Can you repeat that?
So technically, the commission need not have a second for the nomination.
Okay.
So now that the nomination has been made, ordinarily a vote would be taken. If the vote passes, then so be it. And if not, then a second nomination would be made. So at this time, it would be time to take the vote on the nomination of Chair Pham for a second term.
Chair, if I may ask one question of staff, does the person need to be here to accept the nomination? Because that's the other thing, or just for procedurally?
Ordinarily, yes.
The acceptance would need to be part of the record and be made in the context of the meeting when the meeting's being held.
Madam Secretary, please
So
call.
is,
So you accept the nomination?
That's
Yeah.
what the-
Yes,
so is Commissioner Bao a fam here today?
yes, thank you very much.
Okay,
The extra.
so I'll roll call for nomination of Val Pham for chair.
Yes.
Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Oliva,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos, Chair Pham.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Vice Chair Ramos absent.
Low peer pressure, but
We thank you for your acceptance.
thank you, commissioners. Moving on, we have, is there a nomination for the vice chair position?
So I guess I wanted to nominate Ramos, but without her presence to accept, is that then not possible? Right, is what I understood. Okay.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Olivia.
Commissioner Oliva,
Thank you.
Thank you. I accept.
okay, roll call for Commissioner Oliva for Vice Chair. Commissioner Leo,
Aye.
Commissioner Escamilla,
Aye.
Commissioner Benninger,
Aye.
Commissioner Oliva,
Aye.
Commissioner Wu,
Aye.
Vice Chair Ramos, Chair Pham.
Aye.
Motion approved by majority vote with Vice Chair Ramos absent.
Congratulations, Vice Chair.
And we're in compliance now.
This concludes our administrative matters. Moving on to staff comments. Ali, do you have any comments?
Congratulations to the chair and vice chair. And secondly, it's much appreciated when the commissioners respond to our recording secretary's emails for the agenda saying that they'll be here this evening. So please keep up the good work. Thank you.
Are there any other comments from the commissioners?
I thought one of the item is the future study sessions or
That's on the agenda as a future topic. So
Uh-huh.
on the next regularly scheduled meeting during staff comments, we'll confirm the list that we received from our commissioner colleagues and then set that up depending on the topics that we received. Begin working towards holding a study session that will likely be interdisciplinary with support from our colleagues in the building division and other divisions as needed to help answer the commission's questions.
I'd like to make a comment on that so that you can add it to your work. I've been feeling for a while now that we have a very robust and great general plan with some great vision. And as I see Park and Rec do their plan and Public Works and planning does their and all that, it's going great. However, economic conditions change, the uses of land change, and conditions in the neighborhood bubbles up things that we don't have time to talk to because it doesn't come through in issues like conditional use permit. So I want the planning staff to entertain doing more studies about things, for instance, we built shopping center based around the automobile. But the automobile usage changed as people started using electric vehicles and trying to be part of the solution for climate action. And shopping centers are losing, it's more of a place to work now with a few places, but not the big box shopping center. Recently also, there was a helicopter circling over Floral Park all day because someone rented out a house with a swimming pool and there were 100 men there getting drunk. That then after they got drunk, they started racing through the neighborhood and all that, freaking out all our residents in the Floral Park area. And so the use of property. I know that sometimes we rent out rooms and all that, but that's a little different, than the short-term rentals. And I don't know what policy we would come up with, but maybe a study. And at the last meeting, I think Commissioner Leo brought up a good point about increasing more business activity and jobs. And I was wondering if there is some economic study to kind of look at the kind of businesses we like to see if we could track, particularly those that employ a lot of employees with the opportunity for people starting off that may not go to college, but can get those jobs as a starting point because we have such a young population. Then the other role that I like to see in terms of planning is that we built some of our plan and transportation corridor to get traffic through there. But now our residents are starting to walk their children to school and walk more. And there have been just on the corner of Santa Clara and Bristol, 3 accidents within the last, month, and 6 since the beginning of the year. And I'm sure that that's just not the only neighborhood. So I think while we have bike path, while we have pedestrian corridor and all that, we might need a public education program to kind of look at the different levels of economic, the different education levels, look at social and cultural pattern, and perhaps looking at a way that we could come together as one city harmoniously with respect for each other. And I don't mean from right-wing way you either do this or else, we'll send you off to Alba. I talk about that is behoove us to all work together to get along with each other with respect and civility so that we could have the kind of society and civilization that we want. So I think that if there's some ways of things that we don't have to throw money in, but public education program, having the city council speak on issues at neighborhood meetings and things like that, it might help us to further, not just so that we can say yes or no on more alcohol, CPUCs, although they come up with, and perhaps in the CPUCs for liquor, when is enough? I mean, I understand eating and drinking and entertainment, but is there a standard kind of consideration we could have? I'm not sure. So I have more questions related to the way things have come before us and the level of discussion that I just thought the study session would be a great time to ask those questions, to hear from you. What is the state of the art in terms of planning that other cities do? It was an eye opener going to the state Association of Planning. And as I said, they're listening from other commissioners and staff from other cities that have a whole host of different problems related to just how jobs are circulating in their community, whether the economy circulates within the community or exit out the community. So we're building the city that we envision in terms of more housing. Okay, I like to see the jobs coming with it and looking at places that may be underutilized, like in the old neighborhoods, some of the warehouses that are closed and not being utilized, the retail store space that could be rededicated and stuff like that. And I don't know if we even had an inventory. I just saw a recent future park coming up, which again goes to some of the public comment we have about we need more open space. So I think we're doing all the right things. So I don't have a complaint. I just think that there must be a way to kind of get this big bird's eye view, get ahead of the curve for the future and kind of bring everyone along with us.
Commissioner Wu and others, I think the planning staff was always amenable to those types of high level comments, but At this point in time, and Ali, correct me if I'm wrong, I think planning staff is looking for confirmation of topics for a future study session. So I think it'd be helpful to them if you could be concrete and specific and what you'd like to see in the future study session. So if that's what you're endeavoring to do, Commissioner Wu, then certainly please feel free to do that. But I think the staff would be, it would be most helpful if staff had some concrete ideas as to what you would like to see or to otherwise confirm what they had in mind.
Yeah, I just thought he did. I didn't hear him present any, so. Or were you going to present some?
No, so as a friendly reminder to the commission, that will happen at the next meeting. There, we've received a list of topics from the commissioners by way of email already. If you're looking to add to that list, that's always fine with us, but just know that we need time to be able to evaluate and prepare feedback for the commission as well. So that's the point of next meeting, is to confirm that list so that then we can start to develop that next study session or even multiple study sessions with you. So thank you, John and commissioners.
Commissioner Manager.
I'd just like to comment that the EIR for the related Bristol is now on the website that you can take a look at. Please do. It's 602 pages. That will be presented to us sometime in the fall. And it's good now to start looking at it and forming your questions.
Commissioner Escamilla.
Yeah, no, I just, oh my gosh, I was just going to give an update from the Historic Commission, but now my mind is fluttering with all the ideas of what we want to talk about. But I'll start with the Historic Commission update. So thank you all for allowing me to be there to represent the Planning Commission. And we also elected our continuing chair. So Tim Rush will still be chair over there, and vice chair, I believe, is still Ed Marashi. So we have that. And really, I think, at least for the Planning Commission, part of the thought that I had left the Historic Commission with was, if anyone knows of any particular sites, buildings that might now fall under historic designation, trying to, at least for me, put a list together of some important sites. So we recommended maybe the Mendez family home, the Japanese garden that's out here, but locations like that we might want to try to add on to the Historic Commission's plate, or at least have them recognize that there might be some important structures to save. So it was a good little short meeting. So good intro over there. I don't know when their next meeting is because they only meet quarterly, unlike your duties that you have to do every 2 weeks. And then, definitely on the planning side of things, I think I just need a reminder email because I know I owe you guys like 3 emails, I think, at this point, but they're in my brain somewhere back there. But definitely looking forward to anything we can do with streamlining. So really just kind of giving you authorization as staff to just be able to take actions a little bit more quickly. Overall, as we're looking at design standards for, I would say, consistency across multiple plan areas. So I know that that's always been a big deal. And then kind of more generally, what our conversation is going to be around the full comprehensive reevaluation of the zoning code. So like right now, for example, I think I'm sure there's probably something that will prevent this, but according to our zoning code, I don't have to apply for permission to put an oil derrick in my backyard. So as long as I call it an oil derrick, it's like I'm good to go. No building permits needed. Planning allows for it, but it's just because it's been there since like 1965. So there are things like that I know that we need to clean up. I'm just looking for a conversation on that.
Thank you. It will happen.
Yeah. But you can do it
Commissioner
right now if you want.
First of all, I see that everybody survived the fireworks that
Yeah.
lives in the city. I'm happy to see the new restaurant here. The Great Greek is opening in South Santa Ana. There's more restaurants. I think that's good news for us. It's also good for people who need a job that pays, minimum wage or a little higher. I was mentioning to Commissioner Wu that Soriana's now and Artesia Pilar is too crowded because Grub by Greg went on TikTok and said it was fabulous hard shell tacos. And so now the line went from 10 minutes to 2 hours. I was also pleased, I've attended a couple of events at the formerly known as Original Mike's, the new operator. I know that Mike still owns the building, but the new operator seems to have upgraded food and service, which is actually very good. I also wanted to thank code enforcement for Airbnb enforcement in my neighborhood. That seemed to work. Thank Min for that. I think that we're going to have an ongoing struggle with that. I just thinking about society in general. I ran into some old friends that live in Councilmember Penaloza's ward. And I would encourage staff to encourage Mater Dei to meet with the neighbors as they go through that process on the Performing Arts Center. That's necessary. And then when anything comes up on 17th and Grand, that seems to be one of the largest empty parcels left or uninhabited parcels. Let us know. Obviously that could generate not only sales tax revenue, but it might be possible mixed use. It's a nice big piece of land that's pretty much empty at this point. So let us know how we can assist staff in attracting whatever needs to go there.
Vice Chair.
I just want to say thank you for the nomination. Very unexpected, and I appreciate the vote of confidence. And thank you to staff for putting today's meeting together. I know, we like to have conversations, and it's, you get the wheels turning and conversations just happen, but we'll stay on track for our next meeting. Thank you.
Same for me. Thank you for the vote of confidence. I appreciate the nomination and we'll look forward to the next meeting. We'll adjourn today's meeting with the next meeting